Good evening, everyone. Can I, on behalf of everyone Road, the Shankill members and our associated groups, extend a very warm welcome to you all for attending this evening. It has been just over 5 years since the band, bugles, pipes and drums of the Royal Irish Regiment performed here. So to the bandmaster Richard Douglas and his colleagues, I extend a very, very warm Shankill welcome. Before I continue, I would like to thank Cheryl Lamont, who's the Deputy Lord Lieutenant, who has joined with us here as our guest of honour this evening, representing Dame Fanula, the Lord Lieutenant of the County Borough of Belfast, who is continuing to recover from her recent spell of ill health. But she took the time to send me a message knowing that we were going to have the concert here tonight. John, I hope that this finds you very well, and thank you again for your very great kindness. Recovery is underway, it will take some time yet. I am delighted that my colleague Cheryl Lamont, CVE, will represent me on Thursday evening at your concert. Cheryl brings my greetings and warm good wishes to you all. I hope to see you soon. Best, Fanula. Also joining us this evening is Major Stephen Cumrick, representing 38th Brigade. And Stephen is no stranger to the Shankill, nor indeed is Cheryl Lamont. During the conversation that we had about 10 or 15 minutes ago, and Cheryl used to work here. I'll not tell you where she worked, but she did a lot of good work, I should say. Thanks go to Greater Shankill Partnership for the use of the facilities here at the Spectrum Centre, free of charge, which thereby ensures all the proceeds of ticket sales will go towards our nominated charity. Just a special word of thanks to two stalwarts of events like this, Bobby Foster and Sam Cooper, who I have the good fortune to work alongside with in bringing events like this to the Shankill. I have a few apologies for this evening from Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Thomas and Lieutenant Colonel Craig Jamison, who both send their best wishes for this evening. And from Councillor Nicola Werner, who is attending a meeting, and that's what she told me this evening. I do believe her, but she's left her hubby, Sam, to do all the packing for her cruise on Sunday. Of course, I'm not jealous. And so to our nominated charity, BLESMA, the Limbless Veterans. Can I introduce Fiona Morrison and her colleagues? Fiona is the BLESMA Outreach Officer, and that's not easy to say on a Thursday night, in Northern Ireland, who will give a short presentation on the work of the charity. Fiona?
Good evening, everybody. And alongside me tonight I have two BLESMA members, Mark Rogerson and Brian Phillips. So I would like to thank, on behalf of BLESMA, and express a huge thank you to the band, bugles, pipes and drums of the Royal Irish Regiment and everyone involved in the Spectrum Centre to bring this evening together and to enjoy the fantastic performance and the opportunity to introduce you to BLESMA. So where did it all begin? With almost 18,000 charities set up in the aftermath of World War I, today BLESMA still exists. Around 40,000 men returned from the front line having suffered life-changing injuries. As this was before the welfare state and the NHS, they bonded together to support each other and develop a spirit of kinship arising from their common disabilities and the challenge of adjustment, setting up the first branch of what was then called BLESMA, the Limbless Ex-Servicemen's Association. Over the coming years, branches formed throughout the UK, and in 1932, national charity status was awarded under the name of BLESMA, the British Limbless Ex-Servicemen's Association. Fast forward to today, 91 years on, BLESMA is simply known as BLESMA, the Limbless Veterans. So who are BLESMA? BLESMA is an armed forces national charity who offer lifelong support to serving and ex-service men and women who have suffered life-changing limb loss or the use of limb, an eye, or loss of sight and hearing, whether this is during or after their military service. This includes those injured in combat, training accidents, road traffic accidents, sports injuries, and as a result of illness or traumatic incident. BLESMA also offer the same lifelong support to the widows and widowers of members who have passed away. BLESMA offers its members and widows a wide-ranging level of assistance. This includes welfare support, advice on prosthetic issues, guidance on pensions and allowances, financial support with the additional costs that come with the hardship of living with disability. This can include home and garden adaptations and grants with mobility aids to enable members to remain independent and mobile within their own homes. BLESMA acknowledges staying active after injury is essential to continued physical health and emotional well-being, and nationally organises and supports a vast array of adapted activities to cater for every level and every ability, from beginner to adventurer in pursuits ranging from photography to skydiving. However, just as importantly, assistance is also given to the most infirm and elderly where there are demanding care needs. My role as the BLESMA Outreach Officer is to reach out to BLESMA members, widows and family members across Northern Ireland and connect them to BLESMA, to each other, and to support them getting involved within their local communities. With an age range difference of over 50 years, I do this by conducting home visits to those who are socially or geographically isolated, prioritising our contact telephone programme, and organising and running a blended programme of regular activities and events. These include at-home activities, online workshops, a weekly check-in and chat, and face-to-face events, with the aim to ensure that there is something for everyone. Whether an activity or event is member-only or incorporates the family unit, this is seen as a positive step to bring members and family members together and provide the opportunity to encourage the BLESMA ethos from where it first started: member supporting member. I also coordinate the fundraising and awareness raising events to support and raise the BLESMA profile across Northern Ireland. If I can leave you with one thought, let it be this: BLESMA exists and works tirelessly to ensure those members who are living every day with limb loss or the use of limb can lead independent and fulfilling lives. And they will not be failed, they will not be forgotten, and they will not be left behind. Thank you.
So that's what tonight's about, ladies and gentlemen. So all the proceeds from the sale of tickets will go directly to BLESMA. So now's the time. Where is it? Richard. So it's sit back and enjoy.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Deputy Lord Mayor, Officer Commanding the Band of the Royal Irish Regiment, Major Stephen Montgomery, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, you are very welcome to this programme of music by the band, Bugles, Pipes and Drums of the Royal Irish Regiment. Of course, we opened the concert in proper fashion with the national anthem. It's the Gordon Jacob version of the national anthem, with that beautiful fanfare at the beginning, which is composed for the coronation of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. We carried on with a piece of music by an American composer called RB. What does RB stand for? Robert Brown Hall. And he wasn't as famous as John Philip Sousa, but a very well-known composer of American march music, although he was often confused as being British, because the style of his march, particularly that one you just heard, is very much in the British brass or military band style. R.B. Hall, as he was known, is so well known in the state of Maine. To this day, he has his own official day, the R.B. Hall Day, which is held on the last Saturday of June in Bangor, Maine. There's a totally bit of useless information that you really don't need to know, but military band aficionados like that kind of thing, you know. But you have to listen carefully tonight, because there are some free prizes tonight. So I'll be asking a few questions, and when I get the right answer, you'll get a gift if you're lucky. We're going to carry on now with a piece of music by the late, great Ennio Morricone. For years I've been saying to myself, Richard, you need to go to a concert by Ennio Morricone. He's a great composer, and unfortunately I left it too late, and he died last year. So I never got to one of his concerts that he was actually conducting. He's a more prolific film music composer than John Williams. John Williams is very well known, but Morricone has composed more pieces of film music and has won more awards. His most famous music is that of the spaghetti westerns, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West, etc., etc. We're going to play a selection of these pieces now, simply entitled A Moment with Morricone. What fantastic music, wouldn't you agree? Timeless stuff. Now, as they say in show business, time for something completely different. Some very quiet music, give your ears a little bit of a rest after that roaring trombones and things. For many years, we've been working with an ex-soldier who was a platoon sergeant in the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. Big Willie, as we know him, Willie Donald, who's done a lot of work for many services, charities over the last series of years, and sang with the band on many, many occasions. He recorded his own CD with the band. We had our folk band Colby, and sold it. All proceeds went to the Army Benevolent Fund, and Willie continues to do great work with us. He's going to sing a song now called Wild Mountain Time. I was going to give you a wee quiz on this one, but it would be, nobody knows what the original name of Wild Mountain Time or You Go Lassie Go is. Anybody? No? That's too hard a one. It is. We'll get some easier ones. You get a chance to win a prize. It was actually called The Braes of Balquilter, was the original name. I didn't know that until I googled it, I have to say. By the Scots composer Robert Archibald. But it was adapted by the Belfast musician Francis McPeak. And here's one. Which very famous American folk singer sang his own version of Wild Mountain Time? Anybody? Come on. No.
What do you go
A bit more of a hippie than that. No. Not Kenny Rogers. Maybe sort of popular folk music. He was a guitar. What not? Johnny Cash. Think a little bit more 60s than that. Begins with B. His first name begins with B. B. Bob, who said that? Over here. First prize winner of the night. What's your name? But you did say Bob Dylan. What's your name?
Patricia.
Patricia. You've got a CD, right, Patricia? Come on. Jack. Bob Dylan sang his own version. It wasn't really that good, but anyway, well done, Patricia. That's from you on behalf of the band, Bugles, Pipes and Drums, the Royal Irish Regiment. Okay. That'll give Willie a chance to relax his nerves. Ladies and gentlemen, he's an absolute star, a real supporter of Forces Charities. Give a big Shankill welcome to Willie Donald.
I hope everyone's going to sing along with me. once more, Belfast. And we'll all go together. Mountain time, all around the blooming heather. Will we go, lassie, go? Hide my true love, she'll not come. Then I'll surely find another to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. You're on your own. And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will we go, lassie? One more time. And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather.
Ladies and gentlemen, Willie Donovan. We have some beautiful flute playing from musician Jack Greeley. Stand up. And on penny whistle, the legendary Sergeant Alan Bell. Now, for something completely different. You get a good variety here. That's when I get my dinner every night. My wife is a love, she's a great cook. And every time, I told you, Richard Douglas, you get a good variety here, you know. The only thing I don't get is my favourite mince carrot and onions, but she doesn't like that. She doesn't like that. You only get that at Christmas. I did get it one night, and the wee fella came in and he said, "Lovely Christmas." Anyway, Baggy Trousers was a hit by the 1970s, 1980s band Madness. What was the original name of that band? That's a difficult one, isn't it? Nobody's going to get that, are they? I intend to keep my CDs tonight. Okay. So it was actually the North London Invaders. I didn't know that either until I looked it up. Okay, which member of the band composed Baggy Trousers?
Sure.
Who said Suggs?
Me! Popper!
What's your name? Lauren got it right. I'm going to have no CDs left tonight. Suggs did, along with the help of Mike Barzo and a few others of the band, but it was Suggs' tune. So he composed it about his school days, and all the words they remind him of school. And let's see what we've got here. Oh, we have another CD. There we go, madam. It's a good night in your house tonight. There you go. Well done, well done, well done. So, very sadly, earlier on this year, we lost one of our colleagues very suddenly, Sergeant Mark Bingham. Sergeant Bingham, Mark was a great friend and character to all in this band and sat here for over 25 years as our solo cornet player. We were very sad to lose Mark, and we still miss him today. And every time I know that when the members walk into the band room, they forget that they won't see his smiling face there again. And Mark was a fun-loving character. Baggy trousers would be a term that suited Mark well. He was always jovial, happy, and a fantastic cornet player, a renowned Northern Irish musician, and arranger as well. Mark arranged this version of the Madness classic Baggy Trousers. For this tonight is in memory of Sergeant Mark Bingham. This is Baggy Trousers. Feel free to get up and do it, but I was there in the day, the dogs took the trousers and the jacket on. Well done. There you go, dancing pig. My bank account's going to be low after all these CDs go. So, ladies and gentlemen, the band of the Royal Irish Regiment and the Bugles, Pipes and Drums of the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Irish Regiment, are all reservists. We're all part-timers. We all have other things to do in our life, although this seems to be all-consuming sometimes. But we love it, we enjoy it. I can look around this band and I can say that most of the people in this band have been here well over 20 years, some of them over 30 years, and some of them nearly touching 40 years in the band. So they keep coming back. We have all sorts of professions. We have mechanics, we have car salesmen, lots of music teachers. Big Ian. All right, have you met Ian? You haven't met Ian. Now, Ian doesn't speak like we do, right? Ian, say hello to everybody. Hello. Oh, he says hello. Ian's from Bury. Ian is a very, Ian is from Bury, and he's been, how long have you been in the band for, Ian? And which band before that? And he was in the regular band of the Royal Irish Regiment. How long have you been in the British Army for, Ian? 30 years. 30 years, so there you are. Seriously, Ian has done so much work for various charities over the year, ran marathons, all sorts of things, and made many tens of thousands of pounds to go towards various services charities, and we thank you for that, Ian. As I say, the band has been busy, and only this last weekend, on Sunday they're gone, we were playing at Whitehall at the Cenotaph in London. There is an association called the Combined Old Irish Regiments Association, and that was formed many, many years ago to commemorate the memory of those Southern Irish regiments that were disbanded after partition. Let's hope I can get them all. So we had the Munster Fusiliers, we had the Royal Dublin Fusiliers, we had the Royal Leinsters, the Canadian Zone. We had the original Royal Irish Regiment, 18th of Foot. Now, have I forgotten any? But the Leinsters, the Munsters, the Connaught Rangers, and last but not least, and I better get this right because my OC's here and he's a fine cavalryman, the South Irish Horse. And usually when a regiment is disbanded, their colours are laid up for perpetuity in a cathedral, usually, and they're hung. You can see them in St Anne's. But the colours of all these regiments aren't. They were given to the keeping of the royal family. King George accepted them on the 14th of June 1922. And he promised the serving members of that regiment and their associations that came thereafter that he and his family for the generations will look after them, and they hang to this day in Windsor Castle Great Hall. So they haven't been made up, they're just the king, or the present king is still looking after them. And as part of that, he gave the freedom of those regiments and their associations to march every year to commemorate that at Whitehall at the Cenotaph, a tradition and an honour that's given to very few. We had a great day on Sunday in the 30 degrees of heat. It was very, very hot. It was a good day, but sadly we lost an old veteran on the parade. He collapsed and didn't recover. His name was Ron Hammond, and he was laid off the Royal Irish Fusiliers. So, have we got some pipers there before I go any further? Oh, we have. Always make sure, Pipe Major, I can see the whites of your eyes. I told you that before. There was an incident many years ago when we were in the waterfront and they introduced the band. Here comes the pipes and drums of the 2nd Battalion Royal Irish Regiment. And they weren't there. They weren't there. But they're here now. Yep, I heard a yep, so that's all good. So in all seriousness, we're going to commemorate the memory of Private Ron Hammond, late of the Royal Irish Fusiliers, and in part of these are our antecedent marches. So we start with Rory O'More, which is the regimental march of the Enniskillens, and then the regimental march of the Royal Irish Fusiliers and of the Irish Guards with St Patrick's Day, and the regimental march of the Ulster Defence Regiment Gary On. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the pipes and drums of the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Irish Regiment. going to continue on now with a more modern classic. Regimental music, people think is really, you know, it's been around for decades or centuries. It's not always the case, because you've got to think, there was one time when that tune, like Rory O'More, St. Patrick's Day, was a new tune. And still that progresses on. We have quite a few regimental tunes that are really belong to the Royal Irish now, that we have taken from other people. It's a bit like taking battle honours in days gone by. The music's very similar in that way. This is a tune that we've, I dare say, not stolen, but we've sort of made our own. It belongs to the Bangor band Snow Patrol, and it's called Run. We first played it at Belfast Tattoo in 2016, and we slow marched to it, and it was a huge hit, and since then we've just kept playing it, and it's really become synonymous with this band, and in particular the pipes and drums. Composed by Gary Lightbody, and from their third album, Polar Bear and Final Straw, this is Run. led by Pipe Major Al Taggart, the Bugles and Pipes and Drums of the Royal Irish Regiment. Give them another round. We're going to have a short 10-minute interval and to allow you to get a bit of air, but also to allow you, if you look over here, follow me over here, we have for sale some Killaloo mugs and some CDs as well. So if you didn't win a CD, you have a chance to purchase one over here. Now think about this, on a cold winter's night, you can drink your tea out of this mug and listen to the band Bugles, Pipes and Drums of the Royal Irish Regiment to your heart is content. What about that? I make life perfect for you, I do. But seriously, if you do feel you'd like to purchase one, Sergeant Mark Douglas over here will gladly see you during the interval. All the monies go to making our next CD. We'll see you after the break. We're going to leave you with the Green Glens of Antrim and the Star of the County Down.
Could I ask the Deputy Lord Lieutenant to come up? This is a gift from the people of the Shankill to you. I'm sure they're fresh. They were taken out of the Shankill graveyard before which is usually what happens. Don't believe them back there, somebody will take them back. Quite often there's an opportunity to thank people, and we always look to what we can do. So, as you know, I'm involved with Old Park Royal British Legion. So, Richard, would you like to step forward, please? And just very briefly to explain, the wee box here, Richard, as well. You can put that back in. And it goes into a bigger box. It's actually two clasped, well, hands as in a handshake, but they are made from the copper from First World War shells. On the reverse of it is a poppy, and the colouring for the poppy includes, or has included in it, earth from the battlefields in France. So it's a kind of special thing for us to say, not only for, you know, in terms of Richard, but the band. And we can't give everybody one, obviously. And I meant that in the most positive way. But it's just to cement that friendship that we have. And finally, to say, if you're really good, and depends, I haven't got the final total on how much we spent here, but it was over £100. We have just taken delivery of our supply of 2023 dated puppy badges, and there's one for everybody in the room. And I think you've clapped and said thanks very much. I didn't tell you it were a fiver each, but sure. Richard, it's over to you.
That, of course, was in memory of the glorious 36th Ulster Division, a march that is very well known to you, and again, it's one of our signature tunes. And as I've said before tonight, on to something totally different. A bit of classical music from the Baroque period. But don't go to sleep just yet, no, not that stuff, not that Radio 3 stuff. It's jazzed up a wee bit, so it's not too bad. Something to tap your foot for. Johann Sebastian Bach, of course, was a composer of the Baroque period, probably the most famous. He had 16 children, and 7 or 8 of those were very famous composers. This is one of his most famous pieces of music, originally composed for organ around 1704, and taken by the legendary brass band conductor Ray Farr and put a little beat to it. This is Johann Sebastian Bach Toccata in D minor. I told you you'd like that one. It's quite difficult to play, actually. Look at Band Sergeant Major, Mr. Mays there, his fingers were blowing a bit of smoke off them, but nothing to him, all within the stride, and of course to all the others that were playing as well. Right, Eric Coates was the king of British light music. Which famous march did he compose? Eric Coates. He composed a few marches and a few very familiar tunes, things like the Sleepy Lagoon. No? Which very famous march to do with World War II did he compose? Sorry. Where's that? Put your hand up, sir. There we are. Dam Busters. Jack, get me a CD. I'm going to have to go busking in town tomorrow to get this money back. There we are. What's your name, sir? Mervyn. Well done, Mervyn. Dam Busters march is absolutely correct. So, the theme to the Dam Busters were composed in 1955 for the war film of the same name. Coates was, he considered himself to be a serious composer, and he actually turned it down in the end, but he actually had a phone call from the very highest level of government to say that this movie was of national importance. And of course it tells the story of Barn Wallace and the Dam Busters, those Lancaster bombers that opened up an Operation Chastise, which blew away the dams in the Ruhr Valley, which obviously caused a bit of carnage, but saved many tens of thousands of lives and shortened the war. So this is the Dam Busters March. that works. Something a little quieter now. Of course, in Northern Ireland, we're not stuck for good flute players, and we've certainly got a few of them in the band. So, we got Sergeant Danny Cranmore, musician Jack Rainey, and Sergeant Alan Bell. Sergeant Douglas has taken a rest tonight. He's been playing piccolo all night, so the lips are going a bit, but he usually plays, but we're giving him a night off. So, three very good flute players. This is a little tune that certainly I've been playing since I was about 10 years old, so I've been playing it for about the last 30 years. Sorry? Really? Well, a wee bit longer than that, a bit of VAT in that. So it's called Tambourine, and a very famous song of Belfast, Sir James Galway, born not too far from this area here. Used to play this, or recording of him playing it, at Radio 4 fairly early in the morning. It used to be before the first news programme way back in the day. I know that because my dad used to go around collecting the insurance money. He used to work for Refuge, so he'd go around his wee Rover, Austin Rover, and I'd be inside him on school holidays. There was nobody else to look after me. And he'd turn this on in the morning, what's that time in the morning again? 6:30 or whatever. So it brings back memories, and it's a great little tune. So welcome our flute section to play Gossex's Tambourine. Well done, the flute section. Give them a round of applause. That little bit at the end doesn't get any easier in the fingers as the years go on. And they played it very well. What's next? Now, okay, so we're talking about music that becomes associated with your regiment and with your band, and how these things come about. There's a few players in this who were involved in making this piece of music successful. The first one was colour sergeant Lisa Jamison here. Lisa was on a flight to or from America, on flying to America. I'm sure there's a song there somewhere. And she heard this great piece of music. And then she went on the internet and had a look at it, and she's seen that there's a band called Celtic Thunder, sort of Irish-American vocal quintet who were singing it, and she thought, wow, there's a lot of people like this. And it turned out this band tours the States and Europe and sells out to many, many thousands and tens of thousands of people. So Lisa came back and she got talking to musician Dorothy Orr, who's over on the keyboard here. And Dorothy is a fine arranger. Dorothy also in her civilian life is the head of music at Ballyclare High School. And Dorothy loves arranging music for bands. So Lisa got talking to Dorothy and says, what about this tune? And Dorothy said, I like that, I like the sound of that. Great song. And she took it one better again. So she got talking to the pipe major. And he liked it as well. So they all came to me and said, we got this tune. It's got a bit of vocal in it and bagpipes as well, and people really like it. It's called Take Me Home, and please welcome back to sing it once again, Willie Donald.
I sit here thinking as the sun is sinking over the mountain and the dry dusty ground. As night is falling, my heart is crawling, the nights in my own hometown. I see the faces in familiar places, I hear the music that they played way back then. My heart rejoices as I hear the voices calling me home again. Oh, take me home, home to the people I left behind, home to the ground I know I'll find. Oh, take me home. As the sky is burning, my mind is turning to the cold winter evening by my own fireside. Away now, but any day now I'll sail on the morning tide. Oh, take me home, home to the people I left behind, home to the one I know I'll find. Oh, take me home, far across the sea. Home is where I want to be. Home, take me home, home to the people I left behind, home to the one I know I'll find. Oh, take me home. Oh, take me home, home to the people I left behind, home to the one I know I'll find. Oh, take me home. Take me
The Royal Irish Regiment, of course, has a history dating back to 1689 when Tiffin's Regiment was raised in Enniskillen Castle. And through those many centuries, many soldiers have served and lived and died for their country in far-off lands. Our antecedent regiments of the Royal Irish date back, and in particular the Royal Enniskillen Fusiliers and the Royal Irish Fusiliers, the Royal Ulster Defence Regiment and the Royal Irish Rifles. These regiments remain in history, and they remain part of our tradition and history to this day. I wear the cross belt here of the Royal Ulster Rifles, previously the Royal Irish Rifles, and there's one component of the Royal Irish Music Machine that we haven't seen tonight, and that's the bugle section, who stem from our Royal Ulster Rifles tradition. So we shouldn't leave them out. So here they are playing the regimental march of the Royal Ulster Rifles, off said The Stranger. the Royal Ulster Rifles Regimental March. We're coming to our final piece of music now, and yet another piece of music that's in more modern tradition of the Royal Irish Regiment. It was composed by Captain Alex Knox, who was one of the full-time directors of music of the full-time band of the Royal Irish before it was disbanded. Alex composed this for a concert back in the Waterfront in the early 2000s. The piece is called Path to Peace. I'm sure many of you have heard it. It's got the regimental march on the bugles, the strain of the opening bugle call going through it. And at Whitehall last Sunday, we played it as the wreaths were laid at the cenotaph, and it's a very, very poignant piece of music. And you can see that ceremony on YouTube. It's been beautifully recorded, and it's a very fine recording. And these guys did very well. Gentlemen, you were excellent. No pressure tonight, because we're now going to play it for you. This is A Path to Peace. We've come to the end of the night. You've all done tremendously well, because it is a little hot in here. But listen, we've had a tremendous evening of music here, back in the Shankill. It's been too many years since we've been here. Let's hope it's not so long until we're back here again. Thanks for attending, and thanks in particular to John McVicker and to Sam for their hospitality shown to us, for the food that we were given, for the reception we've received, for the gifts, and most of all to you all, our audience. Without you, we couldn't exist. Without your support, we are not a band of any, we are your band, okay? And we are here to play for you. We're going to finish now with, we usually just play one march, and I'm sure you'll guess what it is, but I thought tonight that because we're coming up to Armed Forces Day, that we would go tri-service. So we're going to play Hearts of Oak for the Royal Navy, the Royal Marines Regimental March, Life in the Ocean Waves, and the RAF March Past, and of course Killaloo. If you've served in any of those services, please feel free to stand up and to show your service. If you've served in the Army, just stand up for Killaloo. It doesn't matter what regiment you're in. If you've served in the Navy, the RAF, please feel free to stand up and take your salute. This is the Armed Services Salute. Thank you and good night. That wasn't too bad. but I want to see this ceiling lift off and end over in East Belfast. Can we do that with a bit of a yo? Okay, bit more effort this time. One more time for the Shankill. Here we go. Quick.